Number one, don't believe everything that I'm going to say on this video. Just take everything I say with a grain of salt. I don't have any advice to give to anyone. All I have is a story to share of what God put me through. And, I'm going to share that story. And if you choose to take something away from that story and learn from it, good for you. If, or not, just do with it whatever you will, whatever you feel like God, whatever you feel like you can learn from it, do that. Don't trust anyone. And that includes me. You have yourself and your creator to trust, and your mom and dad. And that's really about it, So in the previous video on this channel, I mentioned how I recently went through a breakup. Yeah, the breakup that everybody goes through in their life, the cliche, so how do I say, the cliche, I feel like every person that's on their path with God, goes through their breakup and whatnot. So for me, that's in the last video, I mentioned it, but I had mentioned, look, I haven't had enough time to digest it and really put into words what I've learned from it or what God wanted to teach me with it. So now that I have, here it goes. So some of you may or may not know I was with a girl, and we were probably like a year and a half in. And so come January 20th, that's the day that when basically my story was just, she wakes up one day and says we shouldn't be together anymore. And I'm like, oh, okay. And so I did what I believe every man should do. And that's just to move on, and to this very day, I have not cried about it. Not once. I haven't shed not one single tear over the breakup, as much as it hurt. And so that's why during my last video, that's why I was so on the fence about making a video on it, because I didn't understand myself and what I was feeling, because it was so bad. Like I wasn't crying about it, and I was confused. I'm like, I felt like I should be crying about this. Like I knew I should be crying about this. Like it just wasn't normal to me, right? Like any normal, sane human being would cry over something like this, right? And me, as far as crying, I don't like to cry in front of people. I believe that's just between me and my creator. As a man, I don't want to cry in front of people. So, but for the sake of helping others, I will admit, I think it's okay to cry as a man, but in private, but besides the point, right? But I knew this was bad because I wouldn't cry. It got to the point where I tried to make myself cry over it, and I still didn't cry. So I was doing working out like I usually do. I was doing some pull-ups or something. And I remember I had just played Azura's Wrath for the first time. Super, super good game, by the way. If you have not played it, go play it. It's backwards compatible on the Series X. And yeah, so I played that. The soundtrack, beautiful, like a work of art, right? Like something you've never heard before. So I was listening to the soundtrack. Man, I could feel it like right in my core. I don't know if you can see it, but like I could feel a pain right in my core listening to this. And then on top of that, I'm working out. And, when I work out, I always like reflect on my whole life, because I kind of try to, look at my life in retrospect to push harder when working out. And I'm just like, God, like I'm feeling it right here, right? Then it gets worse. I have a picture, of my parents, like on my cabinet over here. You guys can't see it. And then I have a letter that's covered in kisses and whatever from, her. And and it's a letter she gave to me on my birthday, which was about a year ago, right? And I'm like, oh man, don't read this letter. But at this point, I'm trying to make myself cry, right? Open the letter. Obviously, I'm not going to say what it said, because that's a little bit more personal between me and her. But I'll just say it went something along the lines of, you're the love I always needed my whole life, and I'll never leave you. And somehow, like, you're the one. Like it basically like contradicts everything, right? As I'm sure a lot of you may have or may have not experienced this already. And man, it's a miracle I could even smile about this, honestly. But I read this and so I got the music going. I'm doing pull-ups, I'm working out. I'm like, it's so intense. And then I'm reading this letter. And as I finish the letter, I still don't cry. And I'm like, okay. And it was at that point where I was like, okay, either something is really, really, really good. I was like, either this is really, really good that I'm not crying, or this is really, really, really bad that I'm not crying, right? And now that I've had some time to really like digest it, analyze the situation, I finally began to realize that it's honestly a good thing. And don't get me wrong, crying is, it feels good to cry, like let it out every once in a while. But I think I started to finally realize, and look, to put it into perspective for you guys, I'm going to keep it 100% honest with you. And this is like, don't freak out or nothing in case you're watching this and you care about me. Like trust me, like nothing, I'm not going to hurt myself or nothing. But this was like, I never thought that I would think about taking my own life as an adult. Cause I mean, like, when I was in middle school, it probably crossed my mind, but like as a full grown ass man, I did not think that I would think about it. But it wasn't a serious thought. It was just like, man, basically, I knew they weren't my own thoughts is what I'm trying to say. They weren't my own thoughts, but still it entered my mind, which was like, man, I never thought I would even think about this. So, and when I thought about that, I was just like, man, if God hadn't put me through everything that I've been through already, like losing my mom, losing my brother, I probably would take my own life right now, bro. So it's like, I could only imagine what some other people are going through that maybe, they haven't been prepared for moments like this, but I hope through my story, you can learn a thing or two. And I'll get to my mom and my brother in a bit. So as far as like taking my own life is like, all I knew was this too shall pass, when I was getting those thoughts. And all I knew was these thoughts aren't my own. Like, they're just not my own. So why even, entertain it? Like really? Like, I'm not going to take my own life. Like, that's just the mentality I have. Like, I'm not going to do that. Like, come on now. I'm better than that, but it's still a trip to even like admit that me being 21 years old now that I thought about that. It was really, really weird. And, which by the way, real quick, we blocked each other on all like platforms. So I'm not in contact with this person at all. Right. But, yeah, fast forward. So I have really realized now that like I said, I haven't cried about her at all or the relationship, not once. And I found out that it's really because, if I were to sit here and cry about this person, don't get me wrong. What we had was special. What we had was a beautiful thing. I'm not saying it wasn't. So with all due like respect, right? Which, like I said, don't trust everybody you see on YouTube making videos, because I know I might come off as a really nice guy like through this video. But if I'm being honest with you guys, if this person called me on the phone right now, I'd probably cuss them out. And that's just me being honest. I'm an honest person. I'm just, but if I were to sit here and cry about this person, that would be probably the most blasphemous thing that I can do. And somebody out there watching this might think, bro, like that's ridiculous. Like, why would you even, that doesn't even make sense. But that's because I started putting it into perspective. And this is what I thought, right? How am I going to sit here and cry over a girl that left me just because she felt like it one day? and throw away everything we built together. Not only that, right? So I'm not here to tell you my whole life story. This is just about what God has shown me about love. But as I mentioned, I've lost my mother in 2010, lost my brother, my older brother, back in 2002. He was a miscarriage, right? And those people loved me 10 times more than this girl did. Not to take anything away from her, you feel me? But obviously the love of a mother and a brother are gonna be the greatest loves you can experience, right? So I'm like, how can I cry over this girl? Why do I want to cry over this girl? But I'm not gonna cry as much over my mother and brother. And then I thought about, but well, what about my creator, Jesus or Yeshua or Yahweh, whatever you guys believe is the correct translation of, the Son of God, that came here and died for me, for all of mankind. But I'm not gonna cry about him and what he sacrificed for me. That's like, that love he had is 100, it's infinitely bigger than what my mom, my brother, my dad had, their love for me combined. But yet, I'm going to sit here and cry over a girl. That's like just straight blasphemy. Like, how am I not going to cry over my creators, the greatest sacrifice in history, but yet I'm going to cry because a girl left me? You see what I'm saying? And so, does it hurt? Yeah, it does, but you get to a certain point in life where it's like, you know what? I'm a man and nobody could take that from me. And I'm at the point where it's like, just got to keep it pushing. You can either, I could either use this sadness or whatever, this little breakup I have, because mind you, this was like my first real girlfriend, like not like high school, not middle school or none of that. Like, this was like my first actual one. So this was like, it meant a lot to me, basically. So I can use this little breakup as an excuse to go be an alcoholic degenerate and go screw off my life. Or I can use this to do good, to work out every day, get in the best shape possible. I mean, man, I've literally gotten bigger since last video. Like you see this chest? Like, come on, bro. Like, it's literally bigger since last video. And make as much money as possible. And it's just like, when I noticed that people that live in the past, like, there's people that live in the past, there's people that live in the present, and then there's people that live in the future, which is what I want to do, is I want to live in the future. And people that live in the past are people like, well, I used to be one of them, right? Which is like, oh, like, why'd you have to, like, me praying. This was me praying. This was literally me praying like 2-3 years ago. Oh, why did you have to take my mom from me? Why did you have to take my brother from me? Like, living in the past, stuck on that. For what? What is that going to do for me? And that goes back to, I can use, you're dealt these cards, right? You can't bring them back, You can make your peace with him, say goodbye, I'll see you soon. And I can use those losses, that grief of, my brother, my mother, to, like I said, to go be an alcoholic degenerate. And I know a lot of people like this. Or I can use it to be the best possible man that my family has ever seen, or that anybody that interacts with me has ever seen. Then there's people that live in the present. Those are people that you see that go to the club every week. They go party every week. They drink every week because they're so focused on right now, that temporary like dopamine rush or high, whatever. Then you have people, and this is what I feel like is the best, is to live in the future, because people that live in the future, like myself, like I tried my best to, we always look at the bigger picture. We always look at the grand scheme of things. Okay, I'm going to do something right now. I'm making this video right now. Why? Why am I making this video right now? Because I want to be used by God to affect and influence other people's lives. And I want my story not to be in vain. You know, God gave me a story to tell, and I'm not just going to waste it. And I'm thinking 10 years ahead, 50 years ahead, 100 years ahead, generations ahead. What am I going to leave behind when I'm gone? Because I don't have a long time on this planet. None of us do. None of you do watching this. Yeah. I'm going to be here. Yeah. What was he saying about it? I told him to ask you because I go, he knows about that. I don't. He didn't even really ask me anything. He was just showing me. Oh, what is that? It's a Mario game. Oh, is it? Oh, so it's not like the PSP. No, that's the Switch. That's the Nintendo. Oh, okay. All right. Leave the door open? Can you close it for now? Because I'm recording right now. Okay, yeah. But so people who live in the future, and this is like a gift from God, I believe. God makes you think, because this is, you got to understand, God and every other being, demonic or angel, demonic or angelic, they exist outside of time, you know? And so you always got to take a step back, which is what I was trying so hard to do with this breakup. Take a step back, analyze the situation, and think 10, 20 years from now, what do I want to look back and see? You know, what I did with that breakup. I took it like a man, took it like a grown ass man. 'Cause, dude, that's enough to make a grown man cry, and I didn't cry. And I let it build I let it, man, God is good. I let it push me forward and become twice the man that I once was. And, you know, you really got to take advantage of trauma and the curses or blessings that God puts you through. Because, man, like anything traumatic God puts you through, you better take advantage of it, man. And not just sit there and be like, oh, like, why me? Why me? No, bro. Like, man up and be like, okay. I'm telling you, like, if you are put in like a traumatic experience, either you did it to yourself or you're one of God's favorites. And that's just the way sometimes you just got to change your perspective on it. And it's as simple as that. And anyways, you know what? I could go on for like the next days and days, but I'm going to share one more thing with you guys. So right here, got my first Bible. I was going through I was cleaning a storage unit in the back of our house, and found this Bible that my dad had left in storage from before he went to prison back in 2003. And it just really made me think, like, I never had a Bible. I have one in Spanish, not in English, and I have a Torah that's in English, but I don't have a Bible. And I'm like, look, even his name is on there. My brother was a junior, so they have the same name. And it's just like, man, God is good. God is good, man. And you know, I can cry over this, or I cannot. I mean, man, when I look at the breakup and I look at this Bible, it's enough to, I know it's enough to make a grown man cry, but you know what? I just sit back and smile at it, bro. I just sit back and smile at it, like, you know? And that's it. Yeah, I'm just end the video here. This is going to be one of my shorter videos, but you know what? I feel like I've said enough and I didn't waste any of my words. So this video ends here. God bless each and every one of you watching this. And like I said, you know, don't trust anyone. You know, the Bible speaks of hardened hearts, but just don't harden your heart to God. I mean, if you harden your heart to like the earth and people that you know are no good, I mean, that's understandable, you know, but just don't harden your heart to God. All right, man, I've been betrayed by terrible people, and I've been betrayed by Christians that were supposed to be there for me, and family members that were supposed to be there for me, and people that I thought I could, so just people I thought I could trust in general. So yeah, anyways, growing out the beard. Okay, I'm sorry, I gotta end the video.